What's going on, y'all? It's your boy No Cut, and I'm back again with another one. I need you guys to do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon for more videos like this. That being said, let's get into it. So the Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov card goes down August 3rd in Los Angeles. It's a very stacked card with heavyweights, junior middleweights, and featherweights. But it's a solid card, man. And a lot of people is trying to hate on this card, all because Terence Crawford is the main event. And they're still bitter about that beating he gave to Earl Spence Jr. You know? I mean, y'all could have ran it back. Bud was ready to go. Spence said he wasn't ready to go. Spence is the one who pulled out of the rematch. And a lot of people not really talking about it. Steven Espinoza exposed Spence. He told everybody. Spence said he wasn't ready to go. He was still injured. So he told Crawford to move on with his career. But then he turns around and tries to step on Terence Crawford's toes by trying to fight Fondora. But wait, didn't he say he was injured? So why the hell would he try to fight Fondora, get in the ring with Fondora to promote a future fight, yet he told Bud he was injured? You know, it's not really making sense. It's not really adding up. And how Spence was moving, it's funny business. You can't get mad at Bud. To the victor gets the spoils. Crawford was victorious. He's supposed to gain a lot of popularity, a lot of notoriety, and a lot of new fans. You know, you can support both now. At first, y'all was thinking Spence was going to beat him. He beat Spence. Just get a man his respect, because if Spence would have beat Bud, I'd have been on here giving Spence his respect. I mean, that's just how the sport of boxing work. Example, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. I had Devin beating Ryan. Ryan went in there and he shocked me. I'm giving Ryan his credit, his just dues. So that's how it's supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody should hold grudges. Don't be mad at Crawford for being Spence. So every time he fights somebody, you shit on the card. You got to realize Terence Crawford is a small guy, pound for pound king, moving up in weight. This is his fourth weight division. He's a small guy. He didn't start his career at 154. He started his career 20 pounds smaller at 135. You understand what I'm saying? So he's daring to be great again, taking chances. This is why you can't get mad when they say this guy's number one pound for pound, because of what he keeps doing. Look at what he keeps doing. He keeps climbing the ladder, keeps going up and up and up. Shit, we never know. He may end up to 160, 168 if he can get undisputed in like 2-3 fights. Because that's what he said he wants. He wants undisputed in 2-3 fights. This Israil Madrimov guy that everybody's trying to hate on only because Crawford's fighting him, I guarantee you if that was Earl fighting this guy, they won't even look at his record of 10-0. They'll say, oh man, this guy is a tough competitor for Earl Spence. Earl Spence is fighting this guy in his first fight. No tune-ups, nothing. Earl Spence is the man. I guarantee you that's what everybody would be saying. If the roles were reversed and the guy you see, Terence Crawford, wasn't there and it was Earl, everybody would be singing a different tune. I guarantee. I already know how this stuff works. People like to pick and choose who they want to give the flowers to, who they want to give credit to. You know, they're trying to downplay this guy just in case Crawford go in there and he looks great against another solid fighter. Then they're going to downplay him. They want to start early this time. Let's downplay Madrimov. Crawford goes in there and dominate him. See? We knew this guy was a bum. Crawford goes in there and have a tough time with him. Oh, he fought a bum and he couldn't get him out of there early. Like, what, bro? Stop. We can't fall for these bullshit. We know there's a lot of narrative pusher in the sport of boxing. Some people are always going to have their propagandas and agendas. We can't fall for it. We let them have whatever they want to have, their opinion. We the true boxing fans. We just got to call the bullshit out and continue to do that. As long as we continue to do that, that's all that's going to matter. You know what I'm saying? That's all that's going to matter. As long as we continue to call out the BS and keep the sport a pure sport and give the people credit that they need credit. Guys like Bud moving up in his very first fight like he did at welterweight. His very first fight, he went up in weight and he fought a much bigger Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn ended his career at 160. Jeff Horn was fighting at 147. He's a naturally 160-pound fighter who beat the legend Manny Pacquiao. He ended up at 160. Crawford stops him, a guy who had never been stopped, who Manny Pacquiao went life and death with. Crawford stops this guy in his very first fight, won every single round. I don't think Jeff Horn won one round. How was Jeff Horn able to win against Manny Pacquiao, a younger Manny Pacquiao, but he couldn't win one round against Terence Crawford? It's levels. It's levels to this boxing stuff. People don't understand the level that Terence Crawford is fighting at. You understand what I'm saying? They don't understand the level this guy's fighting at. When we look at his competition versus one guy and we look at everybody else versus that same guy, it's a totally different fight. Unless that guy is completely past his prime and then people have the edge on that guy like a Gamboa or Thomas Delorme, Victor Postol, those guys, or Julius Ndongo. Unless they're completely past their prime, then they're going to do as good as Crawford did or better than what Crawford did because the guy is completely past his prime. He's been viciously hurt multiple times, knocked out, and now he's acceptable to get knocked out easier because he's older and hasn't aged like fine wine like Bud did. Because at the end of the day, we got to realize that Bud has always, a majority of his fights, his recent fights, he's been the older guy. He's been the older man in majority of his recent fights. So, for real, realistically looking at it, Crawford should be the one past his prime. And he's fighting Earl Spence, still considered prime. I mean, Sean Porter. Well, Sean Porter and Crawford is about the same age. Well, all of these guys, Crawford has been the older man. He's older than Sean. He's older than Earl. He's older than Khan, I believe. He's older than a lot of these fighters that he's fought. David Avanesyan, he's older. He has been the older guy. He's been the guy that's supposed to be considered past. Yet the past his prime guy continue to dominate, continue to go in there and put on great performances after great performances. Just continue to climb the ladder, continue to look great doing it. Every time he go out there, he gets the job done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people continue to hate on this man, but he just continue to fight with a chip on his shoulder. And that's all he really needs to do. Keep doing that. Keep going out there. Keep proving the haters wrong. Keep proving the doubters wrong. And look great doing it. Because once you look bad, they're going to be like, oh, told you so. He's not pound for pound. He should have never been there. I mean, people are literally praying that Terence Crawford loses to Israil Madrimov. They're praying. They're like, please get clipped. Please get knocked out, Crawford. Please. People are literally on their knees praying before they go to sleep at night that Crawford, a guy, and a lot of these people look like Crawford. So it's self-hate. You understand? When I say look like Crawford, meaning like we're the same race. How can you pray on another black man downfall? That makes no sense. No matter what, you don't like the guy or nothing, you should always want to see your people win. You understand what I'm saying? So it really don't. When black people hate on Terence Crawford, it don't make no sense to me. You should always want to see your people win, no matter what. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody that looks like you. You should always want to see them win. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that's how boxing works. Just because a person look like you, that means they're going to win because you want them to win. No, I'm saying you should always want to see your people win first. But, I mean, if they're both American, then you go with the fighter you believe is the better fighter. So it's not a race thing. So you go with a fighter you believe in. Like, for example, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Like, you shouldn't make that a race thing. You could say, I like Ryan because Ryan do this better. I like Devin because Devin do this better. Why? Because they're both American at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, they're preying on Crawford's downfall. They're praying that Terence Crawford takes a L to Israil Madrimov. But I'm here to tell these guys that's not going to happen. They could pray all they want. That's not going to happen because their prayers won't be answered. At least not this time. Because styles make fights. And I've been studying Israil Madrimov, who has an extensive amateur background. So he's a solid fighter. He's a world champion. He's a solid fighter. But like I said before, Terence Crawford is a technician, man. The guy knows how to fix every single problem. He's the type of guy that goes in the ring, has plan A all the way to Z, all 26 letters of the alphabet. He had shit. If there's more, his plan goes up to 100. If there were 100 letters in the alphabet, he has that many plans. You know, the guy is a guy who don't want to lose, who don't like to lose, very competitive. And he goes in there and he, like he said, when I smell blood, I don't go in there looking for the knockout, but when I smell blood, it's over. I'm going to get you out of there. And I like that. And I also like the fact that Bud has been given credit to his opponent. He does that to all of his opponents. He's not sounding like Devin Haney, who was saying Ryan Garcia is a C-plus fighter. Like, what? C-level fighter? Like, why would you downplay a guy you about to fight? Now, if you lose to that guy, right? If you lose to that guy, everybody's going to be like, well, you told us this guy was a C-level fighter. So, if you lose to this guy, what that make you? This is why you don't go into the fight telling people a guy is a C-level fighter, a D-level fighter. You respect your opponent. You up your opponent so when you win, you can get your credit. And that's what Crawford does every time. This is why he's a consummate professional, and this is why people respect him. But you guys see these pictures of David Avanesyan. Terence Crawford, usually the smaller guy when he's fighting. Terence Crawford, usually a smaller guy, the shorter guy when he's fighting these bigger fighters. But against David Avanesyan, he had the height advantage. They were about the same size, but that's a bad thing when Crawford is about the same size as his opponent. That's not going to end well. This is why I'm putting this picture up. Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov, even though he's at 154, him and Terence Crawford are similar in height. He might be a little thicker, but they're similar in height and reach. That's a bad sign for Israil Madrimov. That's why I put this picture up. That's a recipe for disaster. If you want to give Terence Crawford problems, you have to be a bigger guy. You cannot be as small as David Avanesyan or Israil Madrimov. Unless you have speed like a Gamboa, then you can give him a problem. But if you're not moving like a Gamboa and you're not slick like that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, especially if you're a come-forward fighter. He's going to pick you apart, and he's eventually going to knock you out cold. So this is how I see this fight going because of the stature. Because, I mean, not just because Crawford is the much better fighter all around, but because he doesn't have too much resistance, meaning he doesn't have to work too hard for the knockout. The knockout is going to come to him because Israil is going to be right there. They're about the same size in height. Crawford has a longer reach. So I see Israil Madrimov getting knocked out brutally, and I mean brutally, in this fight for Terence Crawford to raise his profile even more. It's your boy No Credit, and I'm out.